Oh, hey there. You know what video game I used to hate but grew to love? Well, of course you do, because it's in the title and the thumbnail, and you got here somehow. But humor me for just a moment. I'm talking about Dark Souls. That's right, this is just another video about Dark Souls. Hey, no wait, don't go yet! I said hate, but I think that's probably too strong of a word. Really, I just didn't get it. Recently, I got the Platinum Trophy and the Demon Souls remake on PS5, and it got me thinking of the first time I tried playing that game. My first real introduction to the series. Back in 2009, one of my roommates had imported the Korean copy of Demon Souls for the PS3. This version had full English text and voice acting, so it was perfectly playable here in the States. At the time, I didn't get it, but I did watch some of it. As time went on, I eventually purchased my own copy to give it a whirl, and this sucks. That's right, I just really didn't like it. I remember making it to the Nexus and not having any idea what to do. That's it. That's as far as I actually bothered to play, because to me, it was unlike anything I had played previously. It didn't hold your hand and tell you where to go, and at the time, I didn't want to learn. Time moved on, and eventually, Dark Souls came out. For some reason, I went ahead and bought it. I was playing it on the PS3 and I made it to just past the Tauros demon. But truth be told, this game kind of scared me. Not like how a horror movie or a game might scare you, but I guess what I mean is, it gave me some anxiety. The thought of dying and losing all progress kept me from wanting to move forward in the game. I stayed around the first bonfire in the undead settlement, only to venture out, kill the closest hollows, and run back to safety until I could spend my souls to level up. I did this a lot, so I barely made any progress, and eventually I just moved on to other games. Years went by and Dark Souls Mania was running wild to everyone but me. I barely even noticed when 2 came out, more time passed, and eventually 3 came out, and then the DLC. At some point in 2017, I was gifted Dark Souls 3, and I figured I might as well go ahead and play it as a joke at this point. I immediately got stuck in Firelink Shrine because I didn't know that I needed to take the coiled sword and stick it into the bonfire to teleport to the next area. It wasn't until I was told, yes, told to do this, that I was finally able to progress with the game. And then somehow, the game just clicked for me. I progressed further into the game, eventually making it to the Abyss Watchers, which became a wall for me, and yet, I didn't want to stop. I simply explored more, changed weapon types, found what I was most comfortable with, and kept trying until I beat them. Next thing I know, I'm fighting the Nameless King, buying the DLC, fighting Midir, then Gale, then going to beat the game, and I needed more. And that's when I finally came back to Dark Souls. When I started the game up, I had a renewed confidence in playing. I knew what I was doing now, but best of all, I didn't have the anxiety when playing. If I died, I died. There would always be more souls I could find. As I explored Lordran, I saw all the interconnectivity of each area, looking off into the distance and seeing places I had already been, finding shortcuts back to safe zones. I realized what this was. I realized it was what I always wanted. A 3D Castlevania done right. It's no surprise that I'm a big Castlevania fan. I absolutely love this series, both classic side-scrolling games as well as the Igavania style, but the 3D games just never quite clicked for me. The PS2 games were both okay and had a pretty good soundtrack overall. The N64 games were not great, and Lords of Shadow was ultimately a big disappointment for me. It's no secret that when Castlevania made the numerous attempts to 3D, it just didn't work as well as other styles. I want to like these games, and maybe, just maybe, I can revisit them at a later date and find a new love for them as well. But currently, that's just not the case. But then Dark Souls came along. It's challenging, yes, but it's made in a way that it really wants you to learn from your mistakes. Then there's the intricate map design. The amount of work that must have gone into creating all these areas and making them as seamless as they are should not go unappreciated. 1 minute, you're the furthest you've ever been, scared of what lurks around the next corner you may round, only to go through a door and be taken back to a place you've already been, a place you feel safe. I've had those same feelings playing Castlevania games. To unlock new areas, you must fully explore the map, beating bosses and finding keys that can be used by backtracking to previous places you've already been. Just like Castlevania. When you finish your initial task that you set out to do of ringing the 2 bells, you journey off to what you might perceive as the final area of the game, Anor Londo. And here, you find bosses, now normal enemies, just like Castlevania. You journey forth, you eventually reach the throne room, you fight a two-phase boss, just like Castlevania. But then, surprise, you find out that you now have to journey back to all the previous places you've already been to, because there are new areas that have opened up, with new bosses, both mandatory and optional. Just like Castlevania. The more I played through Dark Souls, the more I realized that this was indeed everything that a 3D Castlevania game should have been, and it was done absolutely perfectly. I fell in love with this game, and I decided I wanted to do everything. I went on to Platinum Dark Souls on the PS3, and if you haven't played Dark Souls on the PS3, let me be the one to tell you that committing to a Platinum of it was not a simple task. You thought your experience with Blighttown was bad? Now imagine playing it at 12 frames a second, with the only light source being a homeless man off in the distance holding a match. It was rough, and yet my desire to do everything and see everything outweighed that. I just didn't care how bad it was. I was determined to do it all, regardless of how it looked. And I did. After many hours, I platinumed Dark Souls, and I realized, wow, did this just become one of my favorite games? It absolutely did. I ended up loving Dark Souls 1 so much that I went on to platinum Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First Sin, Dark Souls 3, Bloodborne, Dark Souls again, but this time the remastered version on the PS4, and now most recently, Demon's Souls on the PS5, with plans to do it again on the PS3. I grew to love them all, but not quite as much as Dark Souls 1. I can honestly say I've never quite had an experience with a video game quite like Dark Souls, or the Souls series in general. While it's not my favorite series of all time, it's definitely up there. What I mean though is, it's rare for me to not like a video game and then go on to absolutely love it later on. It's happened before, such as with Xenoblade, and that literally took me 3 different versions before I liked it. But with Dark Souls, it wasn't the quality of life improvements that made me go, oh, okay, I like this now. Because when I fell in love with Dark Souls, I was playing on the PS3 version after all. No, it was stepping back and looking at the game from a different angle. Yeah, I played Dark Souls 3 as a joke, because it was gifted to me, so I figured I should at least give it a try. So I went into it with a joking mindset. I didn't care if I died and lost everything. I didn't care about the game at all, because I thought it'd be funny if I went into it with a, hey, wouldn't it be amusing if I played this game I don't like mindset? But that was all I needed to do. That opened the doors for me to really enjoy the series. Going back to Dark Souls 1 with that fresh mindset really let me take a broader look at the world and the game itself. That's when I realized all the similarities that Dark Souls has with Castlevania, and that's why Dark Souls has become my favorite game of the entire franchise. Obviously, Dark Souls isn't going to be for everybody, and sometimes you just don't like something, and that's okay. But I do think it's entirely possible to revisit any sort of game in the past that you didn't like and find a new appreciation for it, as long as you go in with a different mindset. And for me, that was Dark Souls. Nowadays, there are numerous Souls-like games to play. Some good, some just okay, but nothing quite compares to the originals, and among them, Dark Souls 1 still reigns supreme for me. If you're ever wanting to give a Souls-like game a try, I'd recommend trying the remastered version of Dark Souls, especially if you were ever a fan of Castlevania. But you know, ultimately, I'm just another guy talking about video games, and this is just another video about Dark Souls. Oh, fuck. It's because I don't have anything left. Keep that for that. Outro.